So just tell me your name and title so that way if they get it back in the station, they know who it is.
Yeah, I'm Dede Hill. I'm Vice President of Policy for the Schuyler Center for Analysis and Advocacy.
So this, obviously last year we heard the governor announce that she was going to have a plan for universal child care. Now that it's been a year since then, these additional look at this roadmap, what is your perspective on how this looks so far?
Well, the proposal that the governor made last week around investing in childcare, assistance, and pre-K is really extraordinary. If these investments that she's proposed end up in the final enacted budget, this really could be life-changing for New York families. Among the parts of the proposal that we are most excited about is that this would prioritize low-income working families in the rollout to universal child care. She has proposed $1.2 billion in increased recurring investment in the child care assistance program. And to put that in perspective, that would be a 65% growth in the program. And we think, if it's truly recurring, this could be enough to reopen enrollment there are currently more than 30 counties around the state that have closed enrollment because demand for the child care assistance program is outpacing the current investment. So this is, and what that represents for a family, if you can get child care assistance, is you can see your child care bill for one child in child care drop from maybe $16,000 or $17,000 a year to less than $500 a year. So it means the world to families. It really can set them on a path to economic security and sets up their children to thrive.
Obviously, we know that there's the economic multiplier impact, right, of a plan like this. What does that mean, especially for the work that you do?
Yeah, so the work that we do at the Schuyler Center is one of our top priorities is achieving the state's goal of cutting child poverty in half in a decade and expanding child care assistance. That is one of the principal levers by which you help families achieve economic security. It also helps businesses. We hear every day from businesses who are unable to remain fully staffed because families have to leave the workforce, parents have to leave the workforce to care for their kids. And we're really hearing that right now because child care assistance enrollment is closed in so many counties.
I remember last year when she first started to talk about this, there were investments made in infrastructure, right?
Yes.
And I think that's one of the questions people have. Are there enough child care centers? Are there enough workers right now to facilitate this path?
Yeah, so I think the rollout to universal child care, it's going to take a number of years. It can't happen all in a single year. And the sequencing does matter. We think that the investments the governor has proposed this year sound spot on and are enough there's enough infrastructure to accommodate those expansions. With perhaps one exception, one thing that we are a little bit concerned about is the child care workforce is among the lowest paid workforces in the state. And as a result, child care educators leave the field every day simply because they can't afford to remain in their jobs. And as a result, many child care programs are actually operating at less than full license capacity because they don't have enough staff. And so if we don't find a way to pay this workforce a fair wage, we are actually going to be leaving seats unfilled, and that could actually butt up against the goal of getting to universal child care.
Yes, I remember a few years ago there was the incentive, right? Or there was the retention incentive, a couple $1,000s, whatever it was, but that obviously was a one-shot deal, right?
Yeah, so the state for a number of years at the tail end of the pandemic and then a few years after was able to give these annual bonuses to the workforce This year, 2025, was the first year that there was no bonus. So in essence, this very low-paid workforce is right now experiencing a pay cut. So we are hoping to build in throughout the rest of the session and before we reach a final enacted budget, a permanent workforce fund for the child care workforce. We think with that addition, then we are really on a glide path to universal child care in New York State.
Dede, thank you very so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Okay.
That was great.
All right.